Howdy folks, welcome back to Railroads Online. Got the mogul hooked up to the big old train, 22 cars, and I'm going to ease it to a stop here. And we're going to start building some track over towards the Ironworks. That's the plan for today's episode. Just ease onto a stop. I'm hoping that'll kind of stay bunched up, which may or may not help with the couplers. I'm not sure. Can't hurt. We're going to save. Always be saving your game before you do something. So I've already got this switch here. I think what I want to do is put a Y. Do I need a Y? Not necessarily, but it might be handy if I wanted to come in here and then back into that yard. I don't think I put a Y over here, did I? No. I've got a nice loop. Maybe I don't want to mess with that. Yeah, that's a nice smooth loop. You end up at the same place. So Y might be handy for turning a train, but we've also got the reverse loop here for turning the train. So if we came out that way, or if we went that way, we'd end up going the same direction. So let's just go from here. We need to head roughly that direction. So we need to get bent around, which is going to be fun. So let's start there. That should be the right height. Oh, dang it. It's got the stupid bug. You're close to a switch, you don't get the pop-up. Hopefully they'll fix that someday. I should look and see. That's on the known issues list. I just kind of assumed it was. Maybe it's not. All right, so I'll go to about there. Then I'm going to Alt snap. I'm going to do a nice 20-degree bend out of here. Kind of down in the weeds. And then we're going to come back straight. And we'll see how we get along. I like to do fairly short segments, even on level ground. Just makes it easier to edit later on. Yeah, it seems pretty flat. We're still staying kind of right in the grass. We're heading roughly in the right direction. It looks like it slopes up that way. So keep an eye out for it getting too close to the ground. Seems like we're still okay. Uh-oh. No, it's sloped up sharply there. We probably need to head down. So I'm going to get rid of a couple of those segments. Get rid of a few trees here so we can see what we're doing. I really wish you could just snap onto the spline. That would make life so much easier. And the spline info is there. Come on, devs. Let us snap. Let us just snap to it. That would be super. All right, we're going to Alt, and we're going to go for another nice, gentle 20-degree. See if that gets us away from the rising ground a bit. Back straight and see how we want. Still above the ground. Where are we headed? We're headed right for that hill, though. So we're going to want to curve back at some point. Have a short segment, and then we can go back to nice 20-degree curve. Back over this way. So this isn't necessarily the best route over there. But we don't really have good survey tools. So I could lay out like super long segments of this stuff. At the end of the day, if I get there, it's good enough for me. Still above the ground. Luckily, it's fairly flat along through here. Now, making short segments probably isn't the best for performance reasons. It does make it easier to edit later on. You don't delete a half-mile of groundwork when you want to add something in. All right, so keep going through here. So if you don't like track laying, this might not be the episode for you, but I know some people want to see how I go about track laying, and here it is in all its ugly glory. Most of it's guesswork. And trying things, seeing if the route works. Okay, we're still above ground, I like it. Trying to keep this level if possible. All right, now I've done quite a bit of groundwork. I kind of want to complete my spline, but at the same time, I want to keep the curve going. So I'm going to do, before I do a curve, I used to do like a minimum length. Then it's got just a little bit to work with. Won't hopefully change a whole bunch of your groundwork. So we want to head off in this direction, I think. My best guess. Get into some slightly longer groundwork. Getting kind of close to the ground. Looks like we kind of need to bend around a little more. So let's do another minimum length. Pop into a left-hand 20-degree turn. Straighten back up. Somewhere over here is going to be the Ironworks. Like we're kind of heading for it. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. This wasn't out far enough. I thought we had gone underground. All right, that's a really long spline, so I'm just going to go ahead and build that. Ready to go kind of straight off of here. Yep, I think we're heading right for the Ironworks, so keep on chugging through the forest. All I see is trees. Oh, we're not even close yet. It's gonna be a long trip over here. But most of it's straight. There's a few turns here and there. How are we looking? We're still above ground. Right down in the weeds, but that's okay. Give it that nice unmaintained look. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of trees. Oh, I see a building up there, I think. So we'll keep heading this way, and then we'll see what we need to do as far as approach angle. Yeah, I definitely see stuff up here. Start putting some short segments. And then, where do we need to go? It's a great question. Some of these knocked down. See where my groundwork is. Let's go take a look. Here is the Ironworks. Pine Valley Ironworks. So we've got pipe over here. Okay, so here's where the pipe and the tools get loaded up. And I would assume, yeah, here's the coal offload and the iron offload. All right. Trees going everywhere. All right, I'm going to try to get a track along here, but I'd like to have it the same grade. So let me go find my grade out here. There it is. So that's just to establish the grade. Well, this takes quite a bit of guesswork. A lot of trial and error, mostly error. What I usually do is try to get the groundwork right up against it. And then I come down to the opposite end. Do the same thing, so. And right up against it. Now we can alt snap off of that. Out here a ways. Probably just make a balloon track. Loop, whatever we want to call it. Alright, demolish groundwork. Boop. Boop. And boop. So then in theory we put our track down on here and we're all good. So I'm using alt to make this super straight, and we'll see. We'll see how super straight it ended up being. I mean, that looks pretty close. Now, whether it's too close or too far remains to be seen. While I'm thinking about it, let's go ahead and make a save. So now we've got to get that hooked up some kind of sane way to our main grade out here. As well as get a track over there. Where'd my grade go? There it is. A little hard to see out here. We'll probably have to start further back. I'm going to put that there just so it's easier to find. Alright, let's go get a track along here. There's a pickup. Got the delivery side done. Do need to bring my grade over though. I like to keep this all the same grade. Alright, try to put it like right up against the wood. Remember the tools being tricky, but I think maybe they fixed that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. There's so much grass here. Hard to tell what I'm doing. Now, is this going to be messed up down here? I think that's good. So I'll put that about right in the middle. And we're going to eyeball it. See if we guessed about right. Yep, looks like we're angled off a bit. So I'll change this to rails. And we'll try again. Remember that trial and error? Hit Alt so it's straight. There's no reason this has to be straight. Yeah, I just like the aesthetics of it. Looks like I'm angled, or is this a different? Is that set back? Oh, I think this is actually set back a little bit. That's why I can't get it angled right. I have to wiggle over a little bit. So much for doing it straight. Yeah, that's ugly, but I'm pretty sure these are offset. Like right down the middle, we're not lined up. We might end up relaying this. I'm not sure. I wonder. Yeah, you can't move the crane with nothing there. I'm wondering if that's on purpose. Like it's supposed to be lined up with this, so the crane works right in the boxcar. Not sure. Let's lay this straight. With the other piece, and we can always change it later if we need to. So this looks pretty good. So to get straight off of here, we can use the old crossover trick. So slap a crossover down, link there, there, hit Alt. Don't hit Alt. I hit a funny piece in the roadbed there. Messed it up. Link, link, hit Alt snap. Don't hit some funky place in the ground. You can also always come back and relay the groundwork to match your track. If needed. The groundwork just sets the height appropriately. Alright, now we need this track to hook up with the other track. Can we do that with a 30 curve? Let's give it a whirl. Come on, tree, disappear. There you go. This is more lined up with the rail than the other piece was. Okay, so I'm going to alt make this straight. Come out here. And then we're going to start curving. I'm pretty sure a 20 was going to be too broad. Let's try it with 30. That's as tight as I want to go. Let's try it with 30 and see where we end up. Try to do basically minimum length sections. Yeah, so 30 we end up like here. So we could do 30 around and then meet up. We could do like maybe 26 or something. Try that again. All right, so right smack in the middle. When you do a link like that with groundwork, make sure it's not aligning with the middle of the tie. If your track is all like this. If your track is proper, then that's what you want. Mine isn't proper. It's actually sitting on top of the groundwork instead of in it, which is what it should be. All right, we're going to come out this way. Minimum length. And then let's try like a 20... 26? See how that does. Just a little bit off. Probably need a 28 because that's like on the other side of it. Yeah, I think a 28 will be just about right. Trial and error. So my other series I've been playing, if you're following along in real time here, is Transport Fever 2. Man, laying track and roads and stuff and that is so much fun after you've done this for a while. Proper tools. Actually see what you're doing. All right, constant grade. Eyeball it to be straight. Hit your alt so it's aligned. Right here, minimum length. Do a 28. Should be pretty darn close. Look at that. Like it was made for it. I'm gonna hook in right there. Beautiful. Look out. All right. Let's do a bunch of logging. We'll get some rail down. Exciting stuff. It's what it takes, though. It's a little bit of work to get all your track the way you want it. This is just kind of the first iteration. We might eventually have a yard or something over here. But this will get the products flowing, hopefully. So since I've done precision laying with the groundwork, I usually just attach the track then to the groundwork, and I don't use the snapping tool necessarily to lay this out. I'm going to use the Alt to get it straight here. And then once we start curving, I'm just going to plop it in the middle of the groundwork. And then it does a pretty good job of just aligning itself naturally. So come out max length, plop it right in the middle. And then it will hopefully curve itself to match, and it's all beautiful. It doesn't always work the first try. So far down in the grass, it's a little hard sometimes to tell what it's doing. Gives it kind of that unmaintained industrial look. I'm gonna come about there. And I'm just kind of eyeballing so it'll line up with that other track, maybe. Sort of. A little bit of a kink there. Not terrible. Now we have a nice 28-degree curve through here. Sometimes it gets a little goofy where it lines back up. You can always redo those if you want. I think I'll leave that. I think I'm going to call it good enough there. Now the tricky bit. We need to get this turned into like a teardrop loop. Hooked back into the main roadbed, which is over yonder. So now that we have the loop in, let's do a save. No, see, that didn't line up right. There we go. All right, Alt snap. We're going to go 1 minimum length and then crank this over to a 20. We'll just start wandering out towards the main. This back up 0 degrees. Back. Ten. Then into a 20. Yeah, it's not quite right, so we'll have to kind of finagle that a little bit and then relay the groundwork. That should let us get a switch in at least, and then we can alter the groundwork as needed. So hard to see here in the grass. Kind of wishing I had laid it a little higher. Oh well. Some of this cut back so we can tell what we're doing. We need to peel off and go that direction. So let's get a switch to the right, probably on that side. And then turning just on the side of that tree. Already lost track of which tree it was. It is that tree. Okay, second tree. So we're going to want something kind of like that-ish. There with 3 ties worth, and start gently getting it back over towards here. Sticking it right in the middle of the groundwork. And then we'll come back and look and see if it's awful or if it's acceptable back there. Always tricky getting it lined up with existing track work. Kind of do short segments here and just eyeball it. See, it's not terrible. I mean, it's not the best for sure. But this is mountain railroading. Not perfect track. I mean, that works for me. It's a little herky-jerky, but not terrible. Oh, look at that. I laid the switch right on the seam by accident. Wish I could say that was planned, but it wasn't. Alright, so we're going to come out straight. Lock it, and one more minimum length straight. We're going to do, let's do a 20 degree and see if we can make it work. Over this way, like that, and then straighten back up. Need to start doing a curve. Do a 10 and we'll see where we get to. And it to a 20. It's going to get us pretty darn close. That's going to be close enough for government work. What my dad always used to say. Always heard, though, that close was good for horseshoes or hand grenades. Not much else. So take your pick. Alright, 3 ties worth. Lock it to straight. We get out of here a ways. Just follow the groundwork. You know the drill by now. This is how I do it. There's probably other better ways to do it. Or different ways to do it. Doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's your railroad. Build it how you want. I should have come in a little quicker. We got a little bit of a dipsy doodle there. Not bad though for a first iteration. All right, so we can bring stuff in. We can go around the loop. We can pick stuff up. That is the basics. Drop a save. How are we doing on time? Oh, wow, we're at 34 minutes. So that's long enough for one video. What I'm going to do now is just probably run along here and clear off trees. Maybe I'll clear those as I go. I guess I could, no, I'll clear them off and then I'll run track back and then I can respawn over at the freight depot. That'd probably be the quickest. I want to make sure the trees are all cleared and then we can lay track without stopping, keep everything nice and smooth and flowing. But I'll do that off camera. And then next episode, we'll bring the train over here and see if we can get offloaded. Start making some stuff at the Ironworks. Well, thanks as always for watching and take care. Choppy choppy.